Welcome to Bridging Borders, the podcast where we try to bridge the gap between cultures through insightful conversations.
Together, we explore diverse topics from productivity to language learning, all the while helping you improve your English skills. Hey Sam, how are you doing today?
Hey Veronica, I'm pretty good, but I'm a little bit nervous about the test you're about to do with me.
I am very, very excited. So, today, guys, Sam is going to try to guess some American slang words. A few episodes ago, we did the exact same thing for me. I was trying to guess British slang. It was a lot of fun for me. It was a lot of fun, even though I couldn't guess a lot of the words. But, I feel like it's a fun activity. Obviously, you guys can play with us too, right? You can always participate in the game if you feel like you want to test your knowledge of American slang. This episode is definitely for you.
Yeah, so we'll do the same format as last time. So Veronica will say the word, and I will write down my answer, and then Veronica will say the example sentence, and then she'll reveal what the answer is. So if you want to play along at home, we're going to do a point system. So it's out of 15, with the maximum amount of points being 30. And if you get the word right without the example sentence, then you will get 2 points. And if you get the word right with the example sentence, then you get 1 point. So I'm hoping for at least 15 points, because I think you got just about half, didn't you, in
I
the
think so
English one?
too.
So yeah, I'm quite a competitive person though. So let's see how I do.
Wow, let's see.
I
Okay,
think I have a
so
little bit of a slight advantage because of I don't know how much
yeah.
British kind of TV and music and films and books you've read,
Mhm,
but kind of American culture and media is a lot more widespread around the world, and in the
mhm.
UK we get a lot of it. So I think I'm at a slight advantage, but I don't know how difficult these words are that you've picked.
I think so too. Yeah, and that's something that I had to keep in mind also because Sam is a native speaker and I'm not a native speaker of English. So that obviously gives him a big advantage as well. But I was trying to pick some words that I thought, some of them I think you do know, just a few of them, but there are some words that are very specific to a certain area in the United States, for example, like Bay Area slang or New York City slang. And I obviously had to ask some people, like some Americans in my life that I know. I had to ask them for help. I had to ask my boyfriend for help because he kind of like grew up in this Bay Area, so he knows a lot of those slang words that maybe even a native speaker from, let's say, New York City is not gonna know. So we have to keep that in mind. So if you guys listening, you're going to be like, oh my God, Veronica, all of these slang words are so freaking difficult. They're not difficult, they're very specific to a certain area. And I feel like during our previous episode, we said that, you don't have to use these words. If you have to be very careful sometimes with slang because sometimes other people aren't going to understand you. I remember Sam said that, when Americans try to use British slang, it also sounds a little bit off. So,
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going
yeah.
to be using any of these American slang words anytime soon, I don't think.
Yeah. Okay, so let's begin with the first word. The first word, I would say it's like a little bit easy, and the word is bussin'. Some people might say bussing, but I think it's a lot more common to say bussin'. Bussin'.
I've definitely heard this, and yeah, I'm I'm gonna have to wait until the example sentence.
Okay. Dude, those potato chips are bussin'.
So American. I'm just gonna say like very good or great.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. Yeah,
Okay, one
so
point.
yeah, so bussing means amazing, really good, and I think it's a lot more common to drop the G at the end and just say bussin' instead of
Hmm.
bussing. So something can be like anything can be bussing, something that is amazing, really good. It's an adjective. This party is
Yeah,
bussing.
nice.
This show is bussing. Anything can be bussing.
Yep, that's a
Okay.
bussin' cuppa. Let's mix
Wow.
them
Okay.
both.
Yeah, let's make them both.
I know.
Exactly. Oh, love it. Okay. So the next word is amped.
I know this.
Amped.
If you want to give
A
the example
M P E
sentence.
D. Okay. I'm so amped for tonight's basketball game.
Yeah, it's like excited, hyped.
Yeah, excited, hyped.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is what the meaning of amped. Yeah, extremely excited. I'm so amped.
Yeah, I think that one makes more sense because of like an amplifier. If you have an amplifier, it like makes something bigger.
Uh
Like,
huh.
or if you have an electric guitar, it makes the sound louder, I think.
Ah,
So maybe it's like
okay.
the energy is
I think
being
so.
amplified, but who knows? Maybe
Mm-hmm.
I'm making all that up.
No, no, no. I think you're right. Exactly. Yeah, I'm so amped. Yeah. I think these two things are definitely connected. Okay. Next one is extra.
Yeah, I think. Let me just write down a word so I can.
Extra.
I think this can be used in like a few different contexts and situations. Um,
Yeah.
um, okay, can you give me the sentence?
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, you don't have to be so extra about it.
I've written down over the top, like you're kind of giving too much like energy or like focus to something.
Not exactly. Yeah, well, I think you were very close. It means dramatic, like
Mm,
attention grabbing. You don't have to
yep,
be so extra about. For example, you got a bad grade, let's say. You're like, "Oh my God, I got a C and I wanted an A and I'm so sad." And like you just keep complaining and complaining and your friend might be like, "Oh my God, stop complaining. You don't have to be so extra about it. It's fine. It's just a C."
yep, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's more like
Okay.
dramatic.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think over
Okay.
the top is pretty close.
Yeah, when you
Should I give
said over
myself
the
a
top,
zero or a
mhm,
one? Mm-hmm.
let's do one. Yeah, because when
Thanks.
you
Very
said over the
generous.
top, I was like, yeah, 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 yeah. But then you started talking about like extra energy, like a lot of energy, and I was like, I don't know.
Not like in the sense that like you have energy to do something, but like giving more energy to a particular feeling, if that makes sense.
Ah, yes. Well, then it's
Mm,
definitely one. Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sweet.
Okay, so one. Okay, next one is salty.
Yep, I know this one. This is people say this in the UK as well.
Oh, okay. So what does it mean?
Yeah. Do you want to give the sentence?
Okay. He got so salty after I didn't text back right away.
Yeah, it's like you're annoyed, but it's like a little bit more than annoyed.
hmm It's like overreacting, right? Like you're annoyed and you're
Mm.
overreacting. hmm
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. If someone's salty, it's in the UK anyway. It's maybe it's a slight different, but in the UK, it's like you're annoyed at something and you're being a bit like almost like childish in
Exactly.
not in yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 I think it's the same thing. Okay. So maybe it's
Okay,
like
sweet.
this word is common in the States and in
Hmm.
in yeah.
Yeah, or we've just stolen the word as well, which I'm guessing happens quite a lot.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, again, as you said, yeah, because of how popular it is to watch, American TV and shows and music and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we say extra as well, actually.
Oh, yeah, you do. Okay. I didn't know about that.
Hmm.
Extra. Okay. Nice. So now, now I have a little expression for you. All hat and no cattle.
Can you say that again?
All hat and no cattle.
I think it's like the equivalent of like all bark, no bite. Like some dogs will like bark a lot, like giving it like a big kind of like fronting energy, like but then when it actually comes down to the real, let's say, imagine, there's a fight breaking off between two lads, and someone's like, oh, I'm gonna, hurt you or whatever. I'm gonna,
Uh-huh.
just threatening them vocally, but when it actually comes down to the action, they haven't got the sustenance to do anything.
You're absolutely right. Yep.
Really.
Yep.
And what
All
is it?
had and no
No,
cattle.
I understand the no all bark, no bite
Uh-huh.
expression, but do you know the what that means? The
No, I
the the
think it
one you
comes
said.
from like what's the word, shepherd? You know,
Hmm.
you're a shepherd, and like you wear this like hat that they wear, I guess, but you don't have any cattle. You pretend to
Ah,
be a
yeah,
shepherd, right? Yeah, so it means that you pretend to be something, but you don't have the assets, the skills, or whatever you need to actually back it all up. I guess exactly the same thing. Yeah, but it's a fun expression. All hat and no cattle.
yeah. I
Yeah.
haven't heard that one, but that was a good guess by me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good guess. Yeah, so 2 points. Good job. Okay. The next one is I still wanted to include this expression. I saw it on Reddit, and it's a whole sentence. So maybe we can somehow even give you 2 points because it has two expressions, but it just makes so much sense if I say the whole sentence. So the phrase is, he was born on third base, but thinks he hit a triple.
I have no idea about this one. Can you say it again?
Yep. He was born on third base, but thinks he hit a triple. Americans love baseball, so it comes from baseball.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
think
yeah.
about
Give me a
baseball, he
second.
was born on third base, but thinks he hit a
Hmm.
triple.
So he's. I guess he's saying that he's not as good as he thinks he is. Maybe.
Well, yeah, but if like we start analyzing each
Hmm.
expression, so the first part, he was born on third base. In baseball, if you're on third base, it's like a very good position to be in. So
Mm,
basically, it means that you were born with huge advantages. I think in English there is an expression something like you were born with a silver spoon or a gold spoon.
yeah, yeah. Fed,
Anyway,
fed with a silver spoon.
oh, fed, yeah, fed with a silver spoon. So it's kind of like that. So you were
Yeah,
born on third base, like already very lucky. You have a lot of advantages, right? But then you think you hit a triple. So hitting a triple in baseball is very hard. It requires a lot of skill and a lot of work. So you think you got where you are by your own hard work if you hit a
yeah. That
triple. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. That just really showed my lack of baseball knowledge because I thought third base. Okay, if he's on third base, then he hasn't done a home run or he hasn't got all the way around, so he can't be that good. But he thinks he's hit a triple, which meaning he thinks he's good. But yeah, that
Yeah.
that no, the way that you logically broke that down, it makes absolute sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like guys, in the States, there are so many different expressions that people use from baseball because Americans love the sport. And so there's so many different expressions that are a lot more common than what I shared with you just now, that people love and use all the time that originated in baseball. Yeah. Okay,
Yep, no luck on that
mm,
one.
so we would say zero.
Yep, I'm gonna say
Okay.
zero.
Okay, let's do it this way. Okay, next one is this one is also interesting. I'm gonna give you two words because if you look it up on TikTok, there is a huge debate about it. The words are smack or slap. So something smacks or slaps.
Yeah, something's. Oh, sorry. Yeah, do the example sentence, or do you not have one?
You can, yeah, you can go ahead, but for example, I'm gonna give you an example. This
Hmm.
burger smacks. Or, oh my god, this new song slaps.
Yeah, I've not heard smacks. I'm definitely familiar with slaps, and if something slaps, it means it's like really good.
Exactly. Yep. I mean, something is really good. And in the States, there's a huge debate. You can look it up on TikTok where people ask, does food smack or slap? Does music, like, which word should you use with what? And like a lot of Americans say that with food you have to use smack, with music you have to use slap. So some
Mm.
people get, very it's like a very heated topic for a lot of people. They're like, you can't say this burger slaps because only music can slap. And you can't say this song smacks because only food can smack. So,
Yeah, like I said, I haven't heard smacks, but slaps is. Yeah, I think I've heard. I think music is the one that I've heard people say
yeah,
slaps with the most.
exactly. So, 2 points, I would say, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, great.
Okay, now you probably know this one, but I still decided to include it. No cap.
I've heard this a lot, but I actually don't know what it means. So I'm
No.
gonna need a. I'm gonna need a sentence.
Okay. Let me think about it because I didn't actually write it down because I thought you were gonna guess it immediately. Okay, so
Is it
or
like
like or like
oh,
are you free tonight? Can you help me? Like, are you actually gonna help me tonight? Because you always say you can, but then something comes up and you never actually help me. And the other person says, "Yeah, I'm gonna help you. No cap."
that's confused me even more.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm actually just gonna just pass on that one. I really don't know.
Okay, it means like for real or no lie. I'm not lying to you. For real.
Mm, yeah, for real.
Yeah, we
You
can
got
like
this gift for
yeah,
real. Yeah,
for real.
yeah.
Yeah, you can
I'm
use this
coming around for real.
expression
Yeah,
in so many different situations, and yeah, that's why sometimes like it's hard to think of an example sentence because you're like, well, we can use the word for real for so many situations, and which one is good so that you understand what it means. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm a little bit ashamed that I didn't know that one, but I will.
Yeah, no
So just
cap,
because I've
very
heard it so
common.
many times.
Yes. It is very, very common in the States to say no cap for real. Okay. So now let's move on to the next one. The next one is brick.
Brick,
Brick.
like a thing you,
B
like a
R
thing,
I C K.
like the thing you make your house with.
Exactly, that thing. Yep. It's New York City slang. And I actually heard it a lot when I was in New York City. Brick.
Hmm. I'm gonna need a sentence.
Don't forget your code. It's breakout. I hate February. It's so freaking brick.
Cold.
Yep, it is cold.
I had. Yeah, I had no idea. Brick.
Yeah, brick, exactly. Like that, the thing you use to build a house with. Yeah, it's very common in New York City to say brick, which means cold. Very
Do you know
cold.
why? Do you know why they say that?
No. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's fair
didn't
enough.
actually look up the origins, but it is very interesting why they say it. And it's like a very New York thing, like
Mm,
New York City word. Yeah,
yeah,
brick.
I'll listen out. Maybe I've listened to maybe some rap music where they say brick, or maybe a podcast and they've said brick and I've never noticed. But now I'll know.
Yeah. Okay. So the next one is Boston slang. The word is packy. Packie. Packy.
I have no idea. Gonna need a sentence.
Yep. I'm gonna go to a packy and buy some beer.
A shop.
More specific. Okay, I can say I'm gonna run a quick packy and get some tequila.
I have no idea.
A liquor store.
Okay.
Yeah, so it comes from the word, I don't know. It says that packy is short for package store, which is what some people in Boston call a liquor store. So you can
Wow.
say you can go to a packy or you can run a quick packy. Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
very interesting.
I had no idea. I don't think I've ever heard of that one. That is actually a racial slur in the UK as well for people from Pakistan. So don't
Oh
say that
my
in the UK.
God. Okay. Wow, I
Yep.
didn't know about that.
But in
Okay.
Boston, you might be okay.
You might be. Yeah. So like
Yeah.
with a lot of slang words, you have to be careful because a lot of native speakers they don't know them. So
Hmm.
yeah, gotta be careful.
Yeah, that's why I might have reacted like, when you said that. I was like, what's she gonna say here?
Yeah, no. Okay. The next two words are also Boston slang. So the
hmm
next word is clicker.
I've got a guess,
Mhm.
but can I have a example sentence?
Well, you can guess because what if you guess correctly and it's you get two
I'll just tell. I'll
points.
just tell you
Uh,
my. I'll just tell you my guess.
uh-huh.
I'll go with it,
Okay.
and then I'll change my mind if I hear the example sentence, and then I think my guess was actually way wrong.
Yeah. So, okay, clicker. Let me think of an example sentence. I can't find the clicker to turn the TV on.
Yep, my guess was right.
Yeah.
TV remote.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly. A
people
clicker.
say this. People say this in UK as well.
Oh, seriously? Okay. Interesting. Yeah, it's a TV remote control.
Yeah, my dad says some really weird ones. He says doofer,
Doofa?
and yeah, doofer into the remote. I don't think he says clicker, but the weirdest one he says, and he always said this for his entire life, and me and my sister thought it was like the normal thing to call it, but it was only until we became like adults that we realized that it's a weird thing to call it. But he called it a channel changer.
Channel changer.
It's
Oh,
what it
that's
does,
funny.
the remote changes the
Yeah,
channel, so that's why he
changes
called
the
it.
channels. Oh, that's funny
Yeah,
actually.
but yeah, people in the UK say clicker as well. So there we go.
Okay,
Maybe there is
nice.
some Irish. I think there's a big Irish population in Boston, maybe, or maybe I've just
Mm,
completely made that up. So maybe there is some crossover there.
maybe. Okay, and the final Boston word is bubbler.
Bubbler.
Hmm.
Bubbler. I'm gonna take a guess, but then I'm very happy to change that guess after the example sentence.
Okay. There's a beautiful bubbler in front of my house. The water is just so clear.
Yeah, my guess was really wrong. I guess telephone. So I'm gonna guess from the example sentence and a fountain.
Uh huh. A water fountain.
Really?
Exactly. Yeah, a bubbler.
A bubbler. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I think it makes sense because of the sound it makes, I guess. Yeah, like a
Yeah, true.
bubbling
I just
sound. Yeah.
how is Boston famous for fountains? Is there just like water fountains everywhere? What type of fountain is it? Like a drinking one, or is it like a aesthetic one that people have in gardens and parks and stuff?
I think more like an aesthetic one.
Hmm.
So, yeah. I hope I'm right.
Yeah,
But
interesting.
that's what I
Who
so
knows?
these like Boston words I found on Reddit because I don't have any friends who live in Boston, so I couldn't double
Yep.
check. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we have one, two, three, five, one, two, three, four more words. Okay, perfect. I think.
Yeah, I think we
Okay,
had. Yeah, yeah. Oh no,
then
I'm on 12, so we should have three
three,
more words.
three
Yep.
more words. Okay,
hmm
perfect. So the next word is goated.
Yep. If
Goated.
you want to give, I've got this, but if you want to give an example sentence,
Uh-huh. These cheese sticks are goated. I love them.
yeah, this is a term that's used way too much in my opinion because GOAT stands for greatest of all times. So
Yep.
um, there should be only be one greatest of all time if you're talking about a music artist or um, yeah, I don't know, whatever, a cheese slice, then yeah, it has to be the very best. Yeah, people
Hmm.
use goats far too freely, but yeah, greatest of all time.
Exactly. Yeah, something really great. Yeah, amazing, wonderful. I think Americans tend to exaggerate a lot. It's something that maybe I was like watching a video about American English, but I remember the person there said that like it's a very cultural thing, using words that they're maybe like a little bit too much. Like how at one point everyone in the States wanted to use the word literally. It's literally
Mm,
the best. It's literally so cool here.
yeah.
Yeah, this like culture of exaggeration is obviously present in the States.
So you could say Americans are a bit extra.
Yeah, exactly.
There
Yeah,
you go. I'm
yeah,
learning it.
yeah. Nice.
Mhm. Yeah, but in the
Um,
UK we say goat as well, but we don't say goated as much. We just say
okay.
he's the goat, she's the goat.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the greatest of all time. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, the next word is on God. Two words. On God.
Yeah, I think I know this one, and people say it in the UK as well. I think this is more like literal. It's like, do you want to give the sentence?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'll write my answer down.
Yep. I know he's lying to you. On God.
It's like the truth, like the absolute truth.
Exactly. Like I swear to
Okay.
God. It basically
Yep.
means I swear to God. Like I am
Yeah.
telling you the truth. He is lying to
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I thought it's a little bit more literal, because it's like literally involving God into this like comment or um statement or whatever. I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying it is true essentially.
Yeah, exactly. It is true. Yeah, I'm telling you the truth. Absolutely. Okay, and the last acronym, we have an acronym
Hmm.
here. I decided to
Nice.
I decided to add it here because right now I'm learning ASL, which stands for American Sign Language. But there's also this internet slang phrase. Probably you know this one. It's pretty old. ASL. It stands for age, sex, location. But right now, some TikTokers use this expression in a different way. So, do you know what it means? ASL.
I'm 28, Veronica. I don't go on TikTok. But ASL. I did know the age, sex, location one.
No, it's yeah. So I decided to say it
Yeah.
because it's not that.
Yeah, that's what I would have guessed as well. That's what people used to say on like chat roulette or Omegle,
Hmm.
if anyone ever used to go on that.
Yes.
And it's just loads of boys who just are looking for females to talk to because they're sad and lonely. Um, Honestly, ASL. I have no idea. I actually have no idea.
Okay, I'm gonna give you an example sentence. You're gonna
Hmm.
understand it. I have so much work. I'm tired. ASL.
ASL. Hmm. Maybe for
Think
I'll take
of
the zero. I'll take the 0 points. But can you give me one of the?
uh huh.
Can you give me one of the words?
Yeah, yeah. Think of AS as one word instead of thinking of ASL as three words. So it's as L. L is another word. I'm tired as something that ends on an L, not begins with an L.
Mm. Yeah, I still have no idea. You're gonna have to tell me this one.
I'm tired as hell. As hell. ASL stands for as hell.
Ah, as ASL. And they people
As
say that.
Yeah, I'm tired as hell. ASL because AS is like as and L is for hell. I'm tired as hell. ASL.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I'm clearly getting old and uncool because there are slang words that I don't know that young people are using. I actually came across one in the UK the other day. I heard it
Mhm.
twice in the space of a week, and I thought, well, I didn't know people use that word, and it's a hard launch on Instagram. Do you know what that means?
A hard launch.
Yep. There can be a
Maybe
soft. I think there can be a soft launch and a hard launch, and it's pretty connected to today's date, which is Valentine's Day.
ah maybe how you approach a person or how companies start selling things. Well, when you first said this expression, I started thinking of selling something, like launching a product, like a company that starts selling very actively, like a hard launch, like buy it, buy it, buy it. But like a soft launch is like, oh, if you want to buy it, you can buy it. If you don't want to buy it, you don't have to buy it. But now I started thinking of, oh, is it connected to dating?
Yes, yeah, it is connected to dating.
Okay, maybe it's like how you talk to a person. Like if you really like them, if you want to invite them out on a date, a hard launch would be like, let's go on a date with me. Like I
Mm,
like you, let's go. And a soft launch is like, are you free tonight? Um, do you
yeah.
fancy a cuppa?
Yeah, I was wondering if you were free. No, that's a really good guess actually, but it's not. A hard launch is when you post the first picture of you and your new partner on Instagram. So it's like you
Ah,
together, clearly a couple, to show the world that you're no longer available on the dating market.
ah.
And the soft launch would be, I've only had one person tell me this, so I'm gonna have to make sure. I think I'm right, but like I said, I'm old and uncool now, and it's like kind of like a hint that you're kind of with someone, like a story. You can imagine a story, and you're kind of like standing next to someone, and people like thinking,
Exactly.
is that like her new boyfriend, or
Your
is that
hands are
his
kind of
girlfriend or whatever?
touching.
So that's like a bit of a soft launch, but a hard launch, yeah, yeah, exactly. But a hard launch is you together, like this is clear and obvious for the world to see.
Ah, wow, this is so interesting. Okay.
But yeah, there you go. Even I'm learning things in slang in English now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. So, yeah, that's it. So, we're gonna give Sam
Mm,
some time to calculate his score and then
okay, I counted them and I got 18, which I'm pretty happy
18.
with. Just over half.
Wow. Good job. That's great. And do you want a few extra points for a little story that I created with ChatGPT? Not a story, it's like a few sentences. So let's see if you can translate them to normal English, just like we did with British
Great.
slang. Okay.
Yep.
Man, he's all head and no cattle, talking like he's goaded at the game night. But when we played, he ended up salty, no cap. We were amped for a competitive round, but it was just horrible, on God.
Wow. That's like all of them.
Uh,
Can we break that? Can we break that
mhm.
down
Yep,
like
absolutely.
part by part?
hmm Man, he's all head and no cattle, talking like he's goaded at the game night.
Okay, so he thinks he's better than he is, and he thinks he's the greatest of all time, or he thinks
Mm,
he's at least great.
mhm, mhm, mhm. But when we played, he ended up salty, no cap.
He was like after they played, he was like really annoyed or like a bit annoyed and sensitive about it. And
hmm
no cap, um, it's I think I've forgotten this again. It's like it's the truth.
Yeah, it's kind of like I feel like no cap and
Oh,
on
for real,
God.
for real.
Yeah, they're kind of similar because like yeah,
Mm,
no cap is more like for real, and on God is like I'm telling you the truth.
yep.
Yeah, for real. We were amped for a competitive round, but it was just horrible on God.
Yeah, we were excited, but it was horrible. Oh, that's the absolute truth.
Yep, exactly. Nice. So I can give you three
Yeah,
more points. It was really good.
thanks. 21, amazing. I'm gonna go home
Wow.
and speak in American slang to my girlfriend until she gets really annoyed at me.
Until she gets really salty.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Sorry. Yeah, I need to start here. Yeah, until she gets salty. On God.
Oh God, for real. No cap.
Yeah, no cap, no cap.
So how was it for you, Sam?
Yeah, I think like I said, because I've listened to a lot of American music and a lot of American hip hop, and listened to a lot of podcasts from Americans, especially like comedians. I think watched so many films and TV series. I'm exposed to a lot of American language and dialects and slang. So I've probably heard most of them, but a few of them like ASL and I just had and brick. I would have never guessed without like the example sentence of brick or whatever. So
Mhm.
yeah, that was. not as bad as I thought it was. I think you had a similar experience with the British slang. You thought, oh no, this is going to be really hard and scary. But yeah, that's like the context actually helps with a lot of slang
Mhm.
and just a lot of actual words by themselves. And one of the ways that I help my students learn vocabulary is trying to put them in context as much as possible. And it's so much easier to kind of remember vocabulary and phrasal verbs or something when you put them
Mhm.
in context. So you can guess a lot of the
Absolutely.
time. You can guess words a lot of the time through context. So even if you're reading in a second language, you don't have to look up every single word if you don't know it, especially if it's like not that often. It does help, but it just makes the process a lot slower, and then you might not actually enjoy the process of reading. So yeah,
Mhm.
a lot of the time you can guess. So it's worth checking, but if it makes sense, then like the one like, oh, you need to get your coat because it's like brick outside or whatever. You kind of guess it's related to weather, and it's either going to be
Exactly.
cold or it's raining or something like that. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I agree completely. I completely agree with you. Context is everything. It is so important, and you can get so many different words. And yeah, even like in Spanish, the same thing happens with me too. When I'm in a situation where I feel like I don't understand something, I'm in this situation, and sometimes the person can point at something, or they can explain a little bit more, and then because I am there, because of context, I can understand this word and then maybe memorize it later.
Are there any American slang words that you use often or use with your boyfriend?
I don't think so, honestly. I don't really like using slang. Maybe just, when we're fooling around, stuff like that. I can say no cap or like salty or extra, but maybe bussin'. Other than that, I don't think so. I don't think I'm gonna use the word like brick or packy,
Yep.
like a liquor store,
Yep.
or
Hmm.
goated. Even the word goated, I don't know. I don't even use the word goat much. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
neither
just a
do I. Because
personal preference.
yep. What about in Russian?
This is interesting because I think what I really like about Russian is the abundance of swear words. And not just the abundance, but how we can change them. It's not something that you can do with many languages. Like with English, with Spanish, there are obviously swear words, but you can't change them much. They kind of exist, and this is what people use. But in Russian, you can just take one word and change, the prefix, the suffix, and like it's going to be something completely different. And that's something that makes a lot of, Russian speaking people laugh a lot, because sometimes a person is going to come up with something super ridiculous, funny, and you're like, it's not a word. And everyone is going to understand it too. Like a native speaker, obviously, where she's going to be like, oh, we get what you mean, but this word doesn't actually exist.
Yeah, we have a funny thing in British English where if you start the sentence, you absolute, and then follow up with any noun or even any word really, it can be used as an insult. So people say you absolute weapon, you absolute melt, you absolute refrigerator, you're an absolute lawnmower, and it just means you're an idiot. But yeah,
This is
people use it all the
funny.
time.
Oh my God, I actually want to use it myself. You absolute lamp. You
Yeah,
absolute microphone.
exactly. Yeah, there you go. You've just insulted someone.
Wow. Nice. Oh, too
Okay,
funny.
well, thanks for that, Veronica, and finding those words. I hope everyone had as good as a time I did, and maybe if you got a better score than me, yeah, tell us in the comments.
Yeah, tell us in the comments. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you really enjoyed it.
Yep, thank you, everyone, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Bridging Borders. If you enjoyed the conversation, be sure to subscribe to the podcast for more useful insights.
Stay connected by following us on social media. You can find us at bridging_borders_podcast. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep connecting.